Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome day. Today we're kind of gonna do a little mini brand review on a brand that is pretty new to Sephora. It's called Stellar, and I haven't really heard all that much about it, to be honest. So I've been kind of hesitating purchasing stuff from this brand because, I don't know, I'm just kind of someone who likes to watch a lot of reviews before I spend my money on something. I don't have a total full face to share with you, but I do have like 5 or 6 products. And this is not a first impressions. I actually have played with this stuff quite a bit. So the first product I want to talk about is the Stellar Limitless Concealer. Obviously, you can see that this is a pretty dark color. From what I can tell about this brand on Sephora is that it was created with medium skin tones specifically in mind. So the shade range for like the concealers and the foundations don't go super deep, and they also don't go super pale. This is in the shade SO1, and this is more of a corrector on me. It is much darker than my skin tone. I would love if this came out in some paler colors. I know that she's trying to cater towards medium skin tones, so in a way I don't really blame it. Like I'm not the demographic because I do have pale skin. I really love the formula of this. It becomes one with the skin. It doesn't crease at all. So if you are pale like me, I would probably pass on this guy. But if you do have a bit deeper of a skin tone, I really love the formula. Like it actually mimics skin perfectly. Next up is the foundation, and this was obviously the most exciting thing to me. I'm a total foundation junkie. This is also in the shade SO1, the same as the concealer, but this is actually a bit better of a match for my face. I would say if you are paler than NC15, I don't think that you could probably find a foundation in this range to match you. I can kind of get away with it. I would say it's definitely a half shade to a full shade too dark for me, but the undertone is pretty good, so it doesn't really bother me as much. So the claims on this foundation say basically undetectable coverage that gives you the glow of the stars. I definitely think that it is more of a luminous foundation, but it kind of dries down to like a gel texture. It doesn't feel greasy and it doesn't feel creamy, but it definitely is hydrating. The coverage, I would say, is about medium. Definitely on the lighter side of medium, I would say. I've been wearing this foundation every day this week to work, and I'm really impressed by it. Like the concealer, it is totally undetectable. It looks very much like my skin. It doesn't accentuate any fine lines. It doesn't accentuate any kind of dry or textured parts of my skin. It doesn't emphasize pores like at all. It definitely does take a little bit of time to set down. Like it does feel a little bit tacky, but it doesn't feel greasy or creamy, and it's actually really long wearing. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this NARS Soft Matte Concealer in Chantilly to brighten up my under eyes. This product is one of my favorites of the bunch. This is the Cosmic Setting Powder, and I have the shade Glow 01, which is just like the lightest color. It definitely has some pigment to it. Like I do feel like it's not translucent, but oh my God, this powder does not look like powder. I am not a fan of powders. I usually don't wear them because I find that they emphasize anything on my skin, like texture, peach fuzz, whatever. So far, the only powders that I found that look good on my skin are this one and the Fenty Beauty Invisimatte powder. I would say this one is probably my favorite out of those two. Never have any luck finding a powder that looks good on my nose, but this one totally blurs my pores. I don't know if you can tell, but my nose looks so smooth. It's insane. When I'm wearing both the foundation and the powder to work, I can get about, I want to say 7-ish hours of like shine free. I do have oily skin, so eventually my oils do come out, but it doesn't make the powder separate. It doesn't make the foundation separate. So next I have this Face Sculptor palette, which has 2 highlights and kind of like a contoury bronzer shade. This one is in the shade Umbra. The highlighters are the most buttery feeling powders that I've ever felt. They're very soft and very pigmented. What I like about these is that they give a true wet look to the skin. It's not shimmery, it's not too glittery, it's just a very high shine. I would say on an everyday basis, these highlighters are probably a little bit too intense for my personal taste. I just have like a light hand with them and I can kind of get a bit more of a natural look. So I just like mix the 2 together. I find the gold on its own is a little bit too dark for my skin, and the pink is like pretty pink. So when I mix them together, I kind of get like a nice neutral shade. So that's about as heavy-handed as I'm willing to go with it. If you love that really glossy, like wet look highlighter, I would totally recommend this palette. This powder here isn't quite as soft as the highlighters, but it is still a really blendable powder. I would say it's not cool toned to be kind of a contour on its own, but I really like it for contour that becomes a bronzer like all in one. This is the Cosmic Blush in the shade Eclipse. This shade kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm. This is extremely pigmented, so you kind of have to be careful with this if you don't want like a really blushed look. So I'm just gonna use a little stippling brush. And the last product that I have is a lipstick, and this is the Infinite lipstick in the shade Dark Matter 03, which is a gorgeous dark nude shade. I've also been wearing this every day this week. I would say this formula is kind of semi-matte. It's not totally matte, but it's definitely not glossy at all. It's really long wearing. It kind of reminds me of the Kat Von D Studded Kiss lipsticks. If you love that formula, you will really like this one. And this color, Dark Matter 03, is my perfect shade. I love dark nudes. All right, I'm just gonna finish off with a little Anastasia Brow Wiz. All right, and that is the end of this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that this was helpful if you were thinking of purchasing something from this brand, but you just hadn't really heard much about it. I would say if you're gonna get anything, I would try the foundation and the setting powder. If you are a highlight junkie, I would definitely recommend this palette. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos. Give it a thumbs up if you like brand reviews, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.